Hi everyone, welcome to this week's Halton Hills housing update. Really interesting this week. Inventory is down again. I don't know what's going on, but I did cross-reference against last April's numbers. I wanted to see what trend we sort of had then, and we're following sort of a normal trend. So I'm going to talk about that at the end of this week's update, sort of what we're seeing with our inventory levels. But let's look at last week's numbers. In Georgetown last week, we had 13 sales. That's a good week for Georgetown. Notable number is 6 of them, so almost half of them sold for over asking. So that is coming right back because our inventory is just very low and demand is very high. So without a little bit more supply, I'm not surprised to see like the bidding wars back, over asking back. It's going to make our prices go up when supply is so low. And we only had 11 new listings last week. So that is not enough compared to where our sales were. So looking at Acton, we had 2 sales and 1 new listing. So nothing crazy. Acton's just like not having massive numbers, but it's just kind of consistent week to week. So something of note, this is the first week in I don't know how long that we don't have zeros in the sale column going down through all the markets. So Glen Williams, Limehouse, and the rural market all had 1 sale this week, which is, yeah, it's just uncommon to see a sale in every market. So there we are, like it's a sign of where the market's at. We didn't have any new listings in Glen Williams or Limehouse, and we had 1 new listing in the rural market. So I mean, it's not a huge deal that there was 1 sale in all the markets, but we've just had zeros in the sale columns a lot of weeks in those markets. So to have a 1 in all of them, it just shows that the market's really busy. So last week, like in all of Halton Hills, we had 16 sales and only 13 new listings. But another thing, we had 5 properties come off the market completely. So that factor of properties coming off the market is still something that is holding our inventory levels down. So we, I think, are going to be coming into a time where we're seeing a lot more listings, and that will probably shift. But for now, like inventory, it's just dropping again. So looking at inventory levels, last week in all of Halton Hills, we were at 116 active listings. This week, we are down to 107 active listings. So not making any traction that way. In Georgetown this week, we are down from 68 to 63 active listings in Georgetown. When we look at our price points, they are sitting very low. So under 800,000 is down from 15 to 13 active listings. Of those 13, 6 of them are sold conditional. So quite a bit of stuff moving in that price point. 800 to $1 million is down from 14 to 12 active listings. This is a very low number for that pocket, especially because it's the main pocket that is selling right now. We need more listings in the 8 to 1 million price point. So 1 to 1.5 million remain the same this week at 18 active listings, and 1.5 million plus actually dropped from 21 to 20 active listings. So you can see like those numbers are so far from where we were in like July of last year. So we just have a ton of demand, and with listings sitting so low, it's no surprise we're seeing the multiples and the bidding wars right now. So looking at Acton this week, we are down from 11 to 10 active listings. The last time that we had 10 active listings in Acton was at the end of March of 2022. Acton has been one of those markets that has really been feeling high inventory levels because Georgetown has had a lot of available inventory. But to be down to 10 active listings in Acton is very low, and I think that it just shows there's not a lot in Georgetown, so people are starting to transact in Acton again. This trend sort of always happens. So it has been over a year since Acton has seen 10 available houses. Crazy numbers. We were like in the mid 20s there for a really long time. So Acton inventory sitting very low. Glen Williams is down from 9 to 7 active listings. Limehouse is down from 2 to 1 active listing, and the rural market remained the same at 26 active listings this week. So no major changes in those markets. So what I wanted to talk about was where our inventory levels were last April, because sometimes it all becomes like a blur, but thankfully I've got my handy like historical notebooks. Last April is when we really started to feel our market shifting, and I was like, did that actually happen, or is it all a blur? So last April, when we started the month, Halton Hills was at 87 active listings. We went to 110 and then down to 106, up to 114, and then we started May with 127. So you can see when we look at the first couple of weeks, like the inventory sitting low, it kind of goes up and down. And then by the end of the month, inventory is starting to pick up. And come May, we are starting to go into like a spiral every single week of inventory rising. By the middle of July, we are at 193 active listings. So that was our highest weekly number in all of Halton Hills in 2022, but it really started to pick up at the end of April. And so I have found that this year, surprisingly, has been following a lot of our normal like supply and demand trends. So it is going to be really interesting if this kind of comes to fruition again this year, because at the start of May, we really started to just go into like a 2-month inventory increasing situation. And I know last year there was the factor of interest rates rising. And so we probably won't have that this year, but it will be interesting to see what buyers do when they start to feel inventory coming on more rapidly. I think as a seller right now, you are going to get a really good price for your house this April. And if we follow the normal trends, it will probably be the highest price you might get all year. So I think if people are really paying attention to the market, this is the month to be listing your home, because it could sort of go downhill on an inventory spiral once we're coming out of April. But now that we know these numbers, I'm going to be watching and referencing them closely. So overall, the market is in a very rapid spot. We are seeing buyers out first day of listing. We're seeing offers. We're seeing multiple offers. It's just very busy right now. So we'll be watching it closely, referring to our trends of last year to see if we follow the same ones. But if you are a seller and you're thinking about selling, or you took your property off the market in the fall, I would really consider putting it back on the market right now, because it is really busy out there. So I will be back next Tuesday. Have a great week, everyone.